This is one of the small jobs I'm now able to do. I've got some space and I've found most of my things. My little tool chest, which is just a cheapy one, I did have it separated into two parts, and I actually had the slip rollers sitting on top of this for quite a long time. Turns out that was a bit of a mistake because it can't really take the weight. The casters on it aren't too bad. I mean, they're all still cheap and nasty, but the way they're attached was just these folded metal tabs, and they pretty quickly unfolded. So what I've done, very crudely, because I still don't have a proper workbench, is cut some 3mm steel strap, drilled the holes for the casters, and just crudely welded that to the bottom of the cart. I'm going to put the proper tool chest back on top of it. I need to empty a lot of the tools out of there because that weighs a ton as well. It would be nice to be able to buy, a bunch of those nice snap-on steel tool drawers or, that kind of professional stuff, but I just can't afford it. Well, I can afford it, I just don't want to pay the money for it. I can't really justify the cost when I've got other things to spend money on, like parts for the Riley. So I just make do with old kitchen cabinets. My girlfriend gave me this from her old bathroom cabinet. I just put an MDF top on it, and it's perfectly good for this one. I've got all my air tools and spray paint type things in there, and air fittings, stuff like that, since it's next to the sandblasting box and the new air compressor. The shelving I ordered arrived today. Again, it's not, this isn't professional stuff. It's reasonably cheap. It's pretty cheaply made, but it's solid enough. It's robust. The paint's already all scratching off it. But it's a step up. I mean, I started with this kind of really cheap and nasty shelving way back in the day when I was up in Auckland doing my MG in my little tiny garage. I had this stuff, and this stuff's hopeless. This one particularly because it's missing all the corner bracing. But I started off with that, and that kind of works okay. You can see I've got a whole bunch of these stackable boxes sitting on some here, and it's too much weight for it. It's wobbling, but for now it keeps them up out of the way. I moved on to this kind of shelving, which is the same sort of thing but more solid. That's just such a pain to put it together with all these little nuts and bolts and screws and brackets and things. That's one of the reasons I left. I had 3 of these shelving units, and I actually left 2 of them in my old house, mainly because they're bolted to the wall, and I just couldn't be bothered undoing them all, moving them here, putting them all back together. Again, this came out of my girlfriend's house, her garage. This sort of shelving isn't too bad. It all kind of clips together, so it's much simpler to do. It's only thin MDF. That's about, I think it's only 12mm MDF, but it is supported all the way around, which is good, and that works pretty well as well. But yeah, I'm slowly getting there. So with the arrival of that shelving, I was able to get a ton of stuff up out of the way. Oil, old car parts, all my old Austin 7 parts, all sorts of things. This rack I've dedicated to all the Riley parts. So all the different bits and pieces are there, which means the chassis is now a lot clearer. It isn't so buried under its own bits and pieces. I'm going to flip this back over. I only just painted it. Got a couple of other little things that need fixing that I'll weld together. The timber for my workbenches, apparently it's going to take a couple of weeks to be delivered, but I've ordered enough timber to make 2 fairly rough, I mean they're not going to be pretty, but hopefully solid timber workbenches. Each one will be 600 wide and 2 meters long. One will go here, and on this one I will have my drill press sort of facing that way. I'll have my vise, and this will be a good general purpose workbench. All of these things will be stored underneath there. And the good thing about having enough room to have the workbench in the middle of the room like this is I can access it from both sides, which will be cool. And it's short enough that there will be space to walk either end. I'll bolt my vise to it. To cut those metal straps, I had to sit it up on this bookcase, which was decidedly wobbly. Again, old kitchen cabinets that's storing all my spray paint and all my flammables are in there, thinners and stuff like that. So I'm very, very slowly getting organised. Of course, I've still got this big pile of stuff in the middle to sort out. And I still need to figure out how I'm going to build a rack for long lengths of steel up above there. That's where the sheet steel goes. The second workbench, I'm not sure where that will go yet. I was actually tempted to make one on casters so I can roll it around, but I don't think I'll really need to. I'm thinking the other one will probably go here. So that'll be quite handy as well. And that should still leave me enough room to get both the Austin 7 and the MGB parked in along here. I may build a wooden cabinet over the top of the air compressor and soundproof it. I have no idea how loud that is. So I do have, the electrician is coming on Thursday, and he's going to fit some security lights outside the shed. So one on the corner there, one up on the outside, up in the middle there. And I'll be fitting an alarm, of course, and also 3 15 amp sockets. So probably that corner, this corner, and maybe that far corner. So I've got, I can move the air compressor around. The reason I wanted one in that corner is in case I ever want to do like a temporary spray booth outside or something like that, I can wheel the compressor over there. Although with a long enough air hose, you can run the hoses around. Ideally, I'd like to put metal piping around and have outlets for the compressor, which I suppose I can do and attach it to these beams. I'm not really sure, but a hose will do for now. Yeah, I think I'm slowly getting there. So definitely having the shelving helped. Just being able to get stuff out of boxes, off the floor, up onto the shelving and out of the way is good. I'm sure this is all going to be rearranged multiple times. I've tried to keep all the Austin stuff here. There's paints and oils and things in the middle, and then other stuff on the end there, including some old Riley stuff. The shelving is pretty stable. I've got all the really heavy stuff at the bottom, but I've also sort of lashed it just to the beams of the garage, and that's just in case there is an earthquake and things start rocking around. Hopefully that's enough just to stop them tipping over. If it's an earthquake big enough to still tip everything over, I've probably got other problems to worry about. So slowly making progress. I haven't done anything on the Riley, of course. I still need to get all sorted out, set up for that. I could put the engine on my little engine stand and start looking at that, but I'm not sure if it's better on that or just on the bench. So we'll see. Finally got the gantry all set up with the wheels on the bottom, and figured out how the lifting pins work. Basically, it's a sort of lever and these little hooks, and what you do is you can take out this top pin, and then this comes down and these little hooks go under the bottom pin, and then you can pull down on this, which lifts it up, and then you put the top pin in the hole that gets exposed at the bottom, and you just do that either side, and you slowly jack it up like that. It works pretty well, and then these lock it in place. This is nowhere near as high as it'll go, but I wanted to get the mill in, so that's as high as I needed to go there. So the mill is now actually sitting on the base. I'm going to remove the gantry. I might just drop the bolts through the base first in case I need to lift it up and jiggle it around a bit. I do want this to go a bit closer to the wall, but once it's all bolted on, you can actually, a couple of people can sort of shuffle it. I should be able to slide it back just a little bit. Probably doesn't need to go too far. So I think I've decided I want the machines on this side because this is where the best natural light is, and also it's close to the door. So if you're doing anything and it's really hot, you can have the door open. So I'm thinking if my office comes to that pillar there, I'm going to have workbenches along here and along there. I'll probably put the lathe, along the back there. Keep this for the mill. I want to have enough room side to side so you've got full extension on the table there. And then probably build some sort of workbenching along here. I've got all sorts of other cabinets and bits and pieces as well, so there's plenty of options, but I don't know, that seems like a good place for the mill at the moment. The other thing I need to do is shuffle things around a little bit so I can get the MG inside, because my girlfriend now has moved in today, so all her stuff is in the little shed. So poor old MG is sitting outside, and it's actually raining today, so it'll be a little bit soggy, but making progress again.